BarTalks. Tell me what's on your mind, baby. This time. Tell me what's on your mind, baby. This time.
So, ladies, women in leadership. That brings me to my next question. Speaking on women in leadership, the challenges that we face, such as intimidating men or perceived intimidation to men. And I want to know, have you guys experienced that in where you are, maybe even in your homes, in your jobs, or whatever, and even in family structures sometimes it's there. And also, how do you see our roles going forward? Like, how do you see the woman's role in the future from where we are today? So you guys can start, or I can start pointing fingers.
But we're all trying to be polite. Nobody wants to jump and dominate.
So in that case, because Nashawn has not spoken, I will definitely put her on the spot because I know she does
I was
this stuff.
just about to jump right in
Perfect.
there. I find it very interesting when we talk about women in leadership, and I have an experience because, of course, I'm the founder and president of Uniquely Designed Coaching, which is my business, and my business has been contracted out by the government. And so I was doing a training called Women in Leadership.
Wow.
And I was talking with a male, letting him know this is what I'm about to do. And it's really to provoke, women who are not in leadership positions to strive for leadership positions. Because where I was doing this particular training, there wasn't many women in leadership. And so I was talking with a particular gentleman, and he said, what you're about to train and teach them on is really not leadership for women, because women are really not, they don't hold the same type of authority when it comes to leadership. And I was like, excuse me? And I was really so surprised. And he said, so what you're teaching them is more about mentoring and, teaching them more those kind of soft skills and just how to manage themselves, interpersonal skills, and all of that, goes into leadership. But I said, you know what? Women have such an influence, and we have such a platform when it comes to how we lead, because I think oftentimes that it's important to know how to lead yourself first in order to be a real leader.
Absolutely.
And I think that when some men see that we can hold our own, it becomes a thing of intimidation. And oftentimes when women are strong and they know who they are and they know what they stand for and they know how to get the job done, then we're labeled the B word.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of women have actually taken on that definition. They got books out there, Be Boss, and all of that. And so, but I don't feel that you have to, take on a derogatory term in order to stand and own who you are as a leader. And so I think when we look around and we see women of power, whether they own companies, whether they are educators, whether they are in political office, whether they are in the church or whatever, it's important, I think, for us to really stand in who we are and to be, without reservations, unapologetically, and to allow our influence to penetrate and change the complex of our society and our culture. And that's happening. And so when men see that happening, sometimes it can be a little touchy-feely type thing right there. But if we learn how to partner together, because I think that we have a way of touching the lives of men, women, and children in a different and unique way than what men do. And so but it's still all leadership. And so I would never change the definition, although he was trying to define what leadership is for women.
I want to give you a high five, girl. I totally agree with you on that one. Anyone else?
Well, I think when I agree with what Nashawn was saying, and I think that women are naturally God has just graced us with influence. And when you think about leadership, what does a successful leader have? Influence. And so for me as a Christian female, my greatest example of an influential leader was Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
And so I don't have to, I can be great and excellent and have a leadership role or have a subordinate role. I can be a caretaker, I can be a provider, a nurturer in his image and still submit to a wonderful, loving, caring husband. So I agree with what you're saying. Like it doesn't, and for me, that's my approach. Being a woman in leadership for me just means exemplifying who I believe in as my Lord and Savior. And so I don't have to be, you know, and I went through that phase. I used to be like that dominant, in a bad way dominant. You know what I mean? Like when you see him coming,
like, here I come.
Oh, there she is.
You don't have to agree with her.
But you know,
He's quite content in his role.
Yeah. But you mature and you realize that really it's not about that. It's just about being who you are and who God made you and using that to do greatness.
Yeah. Tiffany, have you experienced it or do you?
I'm trying to get myself
Okay.
Right now.
She's having a moment.
She's a little under the weather. I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. You can save it for our.
save it.
Okay. Lisa.
Well, for me, my question being a woman in leadership is, would I be somebody that I would want to follow?
Right.
And so if I don't exhibit those type of examples to the people that I am responsible for, then I failed. Because what a leader truly is someone that inspires you to be the best person that you can be. And so if I don't bring those qualities to the table, then I'm not a leader.
Right.
I'm just calling myself one, but I'm not actually demonstrating what a leader is. So I have had the struggle of having men, because the topic of discussion is how men make you feel insecure or try to make you be intimidated in a position. But God has always told me that what you are is what I made you. And so if I keep on showing who I am to them because of their lack of understanding, because they may have encountered someone that was insecure in being a leader, so therefore they take everything personal. I understand that whatever you think, your thoughts about me, that's you. That has nothing to do with me and my value. Not you, sweetie, I should say. But that has nothing to do with my value as a woman or a woman in leadership. So when I come to the table, if there's a discrepancy with how I may handle a task, then let's talk about that. But I'm not going to put my emotions, and I find that a lot of women in leadership, when they get the position, because they're not trained, they don't have a good understanding, that what happens is they take everything personal. And sometimes you don't know the whole picture because your boss does not have to reveal to you why he wants to do something XYZ, because he's privileged to a higher magnitude of information than you. So when you know your role, you stay in your lane and you're skillful at what you do, you don't even see those forces that try to come against you to distract you.
Okay, all right. She just preached. All right, okay. So I want to just ask the audience if you have any questions or any input about the discussion thus far. You can just speak out if you do, because I do see quite a few leaders out there that I know personally that are in amazing positions. So, Janae.
We said we were waiting for you.
I mean, okay,
I'm not sure I have a unique perspective from what you ladies have already shared. I lead the Veterans and Military Programs for a national nonprofit, and within our organization, top to bottom, are female leaders. CEO, COO, CFO, all the vice presidents, SVPs. I think we have one executive director that's a male. So the environment that I am in is relatively different from my previous experience of being in the military and being a military officer. But it just shows that we are out there. We do great things. We make things happen. And it's just very encouraging to know that we're finding our voice and we're going out there and sharing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Rakia? Well, I know that
My
you're...
dynamics is different because the owner of the company is a female and I work with all men.
Yeah.
So in actuality, I have had the privilege of having the opposite as a female boss littering me because I was a wife, I had children, and I had a husband who was military. So I had someone to support me. She did. So in today's world right now, as a a leader, I find it, as a leader in a all-male segment, I put it that way, I find it just, they listen to me and this is A, B, C, and this is what we're gonna do. And over the years, it's taken me to have my voice. Like, you just sat there and listen.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm sitting in a meeting for 8 hours, I'm like, this doesn't work for me. No decisions are made. And one day, I just happened to speak out and say, well, this is what we're gonna do. And the meeting was over with in 2 hours. And I'm thinking, for 6 years, I've been sitting
Right.
with these men trying to make a decision, and I done figured it out in 2 hours. So now,
You don't waste time.
I don't waste time. I just go and tell them, this is what needs to be done. You do it. This is when I want it. Have it on my desk.
Right.
I leave at 4:30.
Well,
And that's a wrap.
so that's funny because right now we're on the cusp of a female becoming president. That's quite possible, a reality for us, and not everybody's okay with that. I don't want to say which side I'm on, but not everyone's okay with that. I personally believe that when you are equipped, you can do it, regardless. I don't care what what gender you are. If you are equipped, you can do it. But the intimidation factor is there, and I will go further to say that I'm single, and it's really there on the other side when you're trying to date. Then there's really an issue because now there's that conflict of interest and the egos and all that other stuff. So, and I have not figured out yet how to navigate that whole system, or even if there is a navigation system for it. I think mine's on dysfunction, but I have faith that that the right person will respect that dynamic and just jump right in and partner with, and you'll finally find a way of being in sync, with that whole thing. Brittany, do you have any place you want to go, or are we back taping, or? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's sort of piggybacking off my mother who just spoke, but we're kind of the complete opposite because I'm very vocal, and it's good and it's bad. But I think it's kind of where it comes bad is where my previous job, being that I was female working with mostly men and boys, because some were younger than me, I can only be honest. But and being there the longest, I was concierge, and I knew how that front desk worked. And it's at one single condominium, same residence for a whole year. So turnover is high, and we have a doorman. So I'm literally trying to help, and I know my approach isn't always nice or pleasant. I've been told I'm rude. But when I'm consciously trying to say, hey, maybe you should do this instead of that, it still turns out a woman is telling me how to do something.
Yes.
And so I got yelled at by one of my coworkers, and I was like, that was it for me. And it got to the point where I had to, HR almost got involved. So it's kind of that conflict of the intimidation part where, and I'm 26 and these guys are like 22. So even at that age, that a woman telling me what to do is so like, I don't like that. And it was a shock to me because I was trying to be nice. It's hard to do, but
and sometimes it's not even you.
Yeah, sometimes
it's just the fact that they are accustomed to a mother telling them what to do, so they bring it into the workplace.
And I had to learn that, and of learning experiences, life in general, but just my approach. Even though my approach was very professional, and I got a non-professional response. That was just. It was interesting to me, but I never thought of it from the aspect of the mother thing, because I do get called motherly a lot, but sometimes that was when I was like, I'm just not going to help anymore. So my mom and I kind of did the opposite, but I was also leaving, so I didn't care anymore. But that was interesting for my intimidation, female leadership position.
Okay, go ahead.
I wonder if part of it is the expectation, like there is a silent expectation that a woman shouldn't tell a man what to do. Like older people don't think younger people need to, like when you talked about, you know what I mean? So it's that expectation, like, who are you? I'm older than you. Who are you? I'm a man. You're a woman. What are you telling me? You know what I mean?
When reality we learn from everyone.
There's a shift, and not everybody wants to go with it. At the same time, sometimes that shift takes us out of our traditional character, and it brings an imbalance.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm truly, even with my questions now, it really is for me to find a mental balance as to what's going on in our society.
Yeah.